Evan Marcel Turner, born October 27, 1988. Today's feature is 32 years old and is an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. He was the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft, and 10 years later, he was out of the league as a player. As an amateur in his era, he was supposed to have been one of the more surefire picks, mainly because of his ability to add production in many different areas of a stat sheet, and for his history of being arguably the best college basketball player at the time. A standout at Ohio State, Turner racked up Player of the Year honors and almost every individual award you could win in college basketball, and once had his Buckeyes team looking to be a real contender for a national championship. To go from that to wondering if Evan Turner should be labeled a bust or not in itself is unexpected and one of the more surprising outcomes in recent memory. Was Evan Turner a good basketball player? Yes, he was. In no way is this to say he's not. Did he have an exciting basketball journey? Of course. To be able to do the things he did on those levels is highly respected. Was his growth stunted? Unfortunately, as a basketball player, yes, it has been. And unlike other cases, he wasn't able to turn that around, so many do call him a bust. Here are 3 reasons that happened, and also the lesson that circumstances out of your control does affect who you become in this game, no matter if you're good or bad. Will they make you as a person? No, because Evan Turner made it out just fine. But they can hurt the outcome of your career, and in this case, it was supposed to have been a franchise one. Salute to Stephen Perry for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Quick reminder, if you want exclusive content like workout videos, ad-free features before they release here, and more, head over to the Patreon page now and become a supporter of pushing these stories and efforts to help any young hooper not have their growth stunted. It's something I wish I had but didn't, so it's my offering to you. Appreciate you guys. Please drop a like and comment on this video and let me know who I should do next. Enjoy the video. Stunt number 1, jack of all trades, king of none. Evan Turner is a 6'7" guard forward from Chicago, Illinois that starred for St. Joseph High School, whose rivals were Derrick Rose and Simeon. He finished 3rd to Rose for Mr. Basketball honors as a senior and was a 4-star recruit. He chose Ohio State to be close to his father over Wake Forest and Notre Dame, and in hindsight, his time there was the best Evan Turner we ever seen and springboarded him to the number 2 overall pick. What also helped catapult him was his ability to do so much on the court and play 3 positions on that level. His IQ, playmaking ability, and handle allowed him to offensively play point guard and dominate smaller point guards on defense, while his size as a shooting guard was perfect. At that level, he could also be moved to small forward with that size and mismatch he created with his guard skills. He was tremendous in college at many things, but he never became a master of anything, and as the level got better, he was simply a role player that could fill small holes in a ship. None of this would matter had he not been drafted in a spot where a role player is the last thing you're expected to be, where you're chosen to at some point drive the ship and not provide maintenance. He had an outstanding 3 seasons at Ohio State where he improved every year, making huge jumps from 8 points a game to 17 points and 7 rebounds and 4 assists as a sophomore, and in his final season at 20 points a game, 9 rebounds and 6 assists. He was the Conference Player of the Year, Big Ten Tournament MVP, All-American, and National Player of the Year in 2010. As his numbers suggest, he's a very attractive prospect as a franchise, and it seemed he can score, distribute, and rebound at a high enough level to be selected in such a position. But on the NBA level, things like size wasn't a factor any longer against similar sized players at the position, and without the speed to get by or the athleticism to finish over defenders, his advantages didn't translate. Also because stunt number 2, respected threat. Also, because he wasn't the perimeter shooter required on a level like the NBA. Noticeably, Evan Turner does not have the mechanics of a natural shooter, and because of the era he came into the league, he couldn't compete without being that. With the three-point shot becoming as prevalent as it's become and the league emphasizing efficiency, a player with Evan Turner's skill set were fighting an uphill battle. In college, with the three-point line much closer and most teams playing a zone around you, it presents multiple ways a featured player can shine. One that can get into the lane or shoot a mid-range jumper or attack that level of competition and finish at the rim. Evan Turner at that level had that, and because the program was featuring him, he was able to stand out in college and persuade an NBA team to take him so high. When he got to the NBA with the three-point line further, he struggled to be a consistent threat and a liability, as a defender could leave him and provide help defense elsewhere. With the lack of elite speed and quickness or NBA elite level ball handling, he wasn't able to become a perimeter driver or mid-range shooter either, at least not to warrant a number 2 pick. In his first season with Philadelphia, he struggled beating out guys like Jody Meeks, Thaddeus Young, and Lou Williams, who were much more suited in the guard role because of their ability to shoot. And as a small forward, he didn't move well enough without the ball or defended well enough with the strength to stop guys at that position. Maybe if he was in a different era where deep shooting or at least being a threat wasn't such a big deal and the mid-range shot was still prevalent, he'd have produced better. For his career, he shot 29% from 3 and just 5 out of 10 of his seasons shooting at least 30%. In this era, if you can't hit the long ball and don't have the moves, athleticism, quickness, or speed to attack the rim, it'll be hard to survive and find yourself an important piece of the rotation. Stunt number 3, traded to the Pacers. With all that said, Turner still had a good chance to be a productive player had Philadelphia included him in the process. In 2014, he was traded to the Indiana Pacers for Danny Granger. He was averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists for the Sixers, and looking like he could turn out to be a solid player for the team moving forward. The Pacers wanted he and Lance to compete for a role of do-it-all third option behind David West and Paul George, but instead it created a divide in the locker room because Turner and Stevenson, both fighting for a contract extension and basically being the same player, couldn't get along. It's reported the two even came to blows at some point during the year, as chemistry eventually got to Evan Turner not being included in the rotation in favor of Stevenson. In the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals, he played less than 4 minutes in total, as by then he was clearly not a part of the team's future. He went from 17 in Philly to 7 points with the Pacers and became a free agent that summer. He signed with the Boston Celtics to another bad fit with all the guards they had in Rajon Rondo, Avery Bradley, and also the additions of rookie Marcus Smart and James Young. With Evan's game style of needing the ball to be effective and not being the shooter that could adjust, he struggled in Boston as well. He was still a serviceable player at around 10 points and 5 rebounds and also 5 assists, but at that point, he was no longer going to be asked to become number 2 pick value. He signed a 4-year deal with the Trail Blazers for $70 million in 2016, and his numbers continued to decline until finally being traded to Atlanta in 2019, playing 19 games before traded again to Minnesota, where he would not play a game. He retired November 30th, 2020 and took the assistant job in Boston. That trade to the Pacers led him down a road of bad fit after bad fit, and with his play declining, I think his confidence did a bit as he accepted his journeyman role. All in all, Turner was an outstanding college player that made it to great heights, being the number 2 pick after not so highly recruited out of high school. He had some good years early in his career, but because of the circumstances of the era changing and him not fitting with certain teams at certain times, he didn't live up to the expectations. Like mentioned, he still had a great journey, and now he has the chance to further his basketball story in Boston for however long that lasts. Salute to him, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunning. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.